Hello there and welcome to a summary video of my Danish campaign. That is a campaign where I started as Denmark and made some friends. This here is the player map mode. I am very happy with this campaign. I think besides a campaign as Austria where I've used the HRE mechanics, I think this is the most powerful campaign I have done yet in EU4. So I'm very happy. A lot of luck was involved, of course, such as inheriting France, but I'm very pleased with myself. We start off as Denmark, and we did take over Scandinavia, and formed Scandinavia and took over Britain, but that's not exactly how it went first. First thing I did was, well, Sweden was never my friend. Sweden was an asshole. They never wanted to contribute anything to the empire, but the North Germans did. So I went in and I vassalized Verden and Oldenburg, and from there I was able to grow my North German region around here, and also the Saxe-Lundberg fellows over here. Those really were my first moves. After that is when I started going into Scotland. Of course, with Norway here, I told them make claims on the Scottish, and so we went after the Scottish, we went after the English. Oh, we went after the Scottish and the Irish, and then when we had both of these areas, because we met England about halfway here, then we just went over and we bulldozed through England. It took a few different saves. We abused the system by declaring war on some of their smaller allies they made, and we went in, we took all of this region. At first, though, I did start off with Northumbria as a client, and I think Ulster as a client. So we had a client state of Ireland, we had a client state of England, but I can only have so many clients, so they were both integrated. Because, of course, I had clients over here already, and I had to start making some allies. Most of the campaign I was allied to the Papal State, but eventually the aggressive expansion got far too much. They currently have negative 568 aggressive expansion with me, but they were my friends up until maybe 30, 40 years ago. But also France with my friend. We royal married a lot between each other, and I suppose that's how I inherited them. I inherited them maybe 120 years ago. They have been my vassal for quite a while, and so I took Barcelona for them, and I split Switzerland between them and my other guy Landshut here, who also was somebody inherited, but I inherited the land directly, and then I spat them back out in order to fix Bavaria. I fed them their claims on the areas within, and then eventually it just got out of control. Whereas Prussia never existed. I took these lands from the Commonwealth, and then I released Prussia and I fed them all of these areas. The same with Munster. I conquered Munster and released them. That's the story between these guys here. And then, of course, eventually later in the campaign, we went after the Turks. We started with Greece, cut the Turks in half, and then we took up Croatia along the coast. It is disappointing I was not able to take all of this land. I would have liked the borders better if perhaps Landshut took over Hungary and the Greeks took over Wallachia, but I can't have everything. I can only have most. I never focused on colonization. I never actually had a colonist all campaign, but I did take some land from Spain. At one point we actually held most of the West Indies here under the control of Sealand, but these guys declared a war whilst I was not aware, and so I did not enforce peace on them, and I ended up losing all of Cuba and most of these islands here. So that was a huge shame. They must have lost their forces fighting one of my wars. However, Markland and Vinland never had to sit through such a thing. We slowly but surely built them up, because the Spanish, they held all of this. Of course, a little bit of Ottomans over here for some reason. The Ottomans also held this up here, but I took that. And then Portugal takes over the bottom. Portugal was also an ally of mine for most of the campaign, but as with most of our friends, eventually aggressive expansion gets too much. They're only at minus 56 though. Whereas if you look at the Spanish, they're at minus 706. That's a lot more. The Dutch were my friends early on. There was Utrecht, and Utrecht was a good friend of mine, especially against the English in the early wars, and I was trying to level out the playing field between the navies, but eventually they turned on me. But to honor their impact on the early game, I did leave them with the city of Zeeland, right between France, Scandinavia and Munster. I thought it's a bit unfair. They were my friend for over 100 years. We will leave them a little something. Whereas the Papal States, I never took anything from them, but I never gave them anything. I could have perhaps given them Italy in one of these Spanish wars, but I was just focusing on getting Spain out of the war, because usually a war against Spain meant that Spain was allied to somebody I was going after. Especially in the HRE, whoever was the emperor tended to ally Spain, and so every time I wanted to expand in here, I had to put up with these guys. Well, let's have a look at the culture map mode, and we have split these guys really in terms of cultures. So the Polish, the Prussians, the Silesians are all underneath the, well, Prussians. The guys down here, they've taken over the Czechs and Slovaks, Austrians. The only cultures that are split are you have the Swabians over here, split between the French and Landshut. How do we say this? Landshut or Landshut? I'm not sure. And in the Swiss, we split between the French and the guys here. But otherwise, all of these cultures are split between the border lines, between the little vassal states I made. So I'm very, very happy with that. I did have to spread Danish a little bit along the coasts, but we didn't just take over everywhere like in my previous campaign as Ireland, where I just made the entire eastern half of North America Irish. If you like Ireland, go and check that campaign out. It should just be it's on the channel somewhere, you'll find it. I was trying to make a little bit more, but unfortunately, well, fortunately for these guys, it did not come through. Also, fuck Spain. What can we do to screw with these guys one last time? Support rebels, corrupt their officials. Yeah, infiltrate administration. Just corrupt the officials. Get out of here. Always gotta screw with Spain a little bit more. These guys, they are a pain. They were a thorn in my side the entire campaign. But that's the story of how we grew the empire. Let's have a look at the development. Also, let's have a look at religion. Catholics rule supreme. I stayed Catholic the whole time because I was, of course, allied to the Papal State. And all of the vassals I took over, I enforced religion upon them. Even down here in Greece and Croatia. Of course, they didn't have so much time to correct the religion in the region, but the Germans did, and so we have forced the Protestants over here. They now live on an island. I thought it would be funny if at the end it was just Protestants stuck on these islands over here, but Genoa stayed. I released Milan from Genoa to make them weekend. The Papal State ate that up, but I was hoping the Papal State would finish these guys off. Unfortunately, it didn't, so we do still have some guys on the mainland, but the Piedmont and Ligurian Protestants will soon join their brothers in Sardinia, I'm sure. Let's have a look at the development map mode. I really did try to build up not only myself over here, but I tried to build up the Norwegians, because the Norwegians were my first friend. Of course, they were friends by force, but the Swedish chose to betray us. The Norwegians never did, and so I did build up their port cities a little bit here. Berghaus, or Christiania is up to 41. 21 Bratsburg. When I had some excess points, I spread them around the coast, but ultimately we did most of our development down here in Sjælland, if I say this right, Copenhagen. I am not a native speaker, I will say some things incorrectly, but in English it makes sense. So this is Sjælland in Copenhagen, and we got them up to a very nice number there. Excellent. Let's go ahead and let's see if the timeline will work here. Let's go ahead and start ourselves at a fast speed. Excellent. So you see us moving into Scotland, and you'll see us moving in to vassalize these guys. Maybe it doesn't show so easily that we are vassalizing them, but we are, while we fight over the British Isles very early on. Yeah, so that, I don't think that ever happened. I think I took that from the start. Oh no, maybe I didn't. Ah yes, Desmond. So it was not the Ulsters, it was Desmond who I vassalized and fed this land to. You see here we've taken over some lands down here. Dithmarschen was the first of all. These guys by now are my vassals, and it doesn't look like I have inherited and spat out Landshut. Very nice. Excellent, let's keep going ahead here. Prussia, that actually was not me. I suppose Prussia did exist at some point in the game. Huh. Interesting. There's Northumberlands, they're coming out now and they are growing quite strong. Although I'm sure they owns this land over here. Well, now they own all of this. Ah, good, we are starting to annex into Germany now. while we push out the English. The English are stuck here in a little area. Along the coast we go. Very nice bit of growth. Excellent. So we have picked away little bits of land down here, but this was not my main focus. Munster, I think, is now my vassal. The British Isles now completely ours. Terrific, we've annexed all these areas. And I think that's when Munster came out to be my friend. I think right about there. Excellent. Oh, let's continue ahead, shall we? Yes, so Prussia did not exist when I took them over. Okay, I missed them existing earlier on in the game. That's my bad. Yes, Munster and Landshut are really starting to grow nicely now. And so are we. But also, at one point, I released Sweden. I was getting a lot of aggressive expansion with this, of course, and with the Commonwealth, Ottomans, and Spain all being very strong. What I did was I released Sweden in one war to reset their aggressive expansion so I could continue in the region. And then I simply conquered them myself, which we will see at some point. Now, these are some real big land grabs. And the Netherlands is still my friend at the time. This is now when Prussia's joined. Aha! Yes, here we go. Scandinavia is formed. I think about now is when the Netherlands turn on me. We'll start to see their lands shrink a little bit at times. Excellent. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful bit of map painting. That's what I thought. Yes, looks like the Germans now are completely under our rule. Very nice. The Austrians have been liberated from the Turkmen. It's not showing these lands being fed back, though. Yes. Greece, turning up. Although all of this land here was also Greek. It's not the best, the guy here. But now, these last 20 years, it was really truce break after truce break to try and finish out these borders. But still, at least there was only some minor mistakes with the timeline. It actually showed everything we took. It wasn't like my last one with the Irish campaign where it started showing all random nations over here. Also, I was good allies with the Persians and Decans towards the end. They were very useful when it came to invading the Ottomans and really weakening them. Just a swarm of 1 million Indians and Persians just came from the east, whereas 1 million Germans and French came from the west, and we just subjugated the Ottomans, kicked them out of Europe. Actually, we also had the Moluccas down here. France took that over before they were our friend. But I'll do for this right here. Let's get out of the timeline and let's go towards the end of the game. It's only about a month away. We might get some fun pop-ups. Also, no. People are going to see the economy, aren't they? Oh, shit. Can I... Huh. Well. Well. People want to see the economy, don't they? Let me just... Never mind. Looks like the video's over. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that summary video. I did not quite stick the landing there, but I showed off most of what I wanted to do through the video. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time. Goodbye.